Welcome to This Explainer. Look, the stats are actually pretty wild. Over half of new managers fail within their first 2 years. But hey, we're going to make sure you are definitely not one of them. Think of today's session as, well, your personal day one mentorship guide for stepping into your very first management role. Whether you are officially starting tomorrow or you've been in the seat for a few weeks trying to find your footing, we are going to break down exactly what it takes to succeed. Okay, let's dive right in. So you got the promotion. First off, congratulations. You've been a star performer, you've been crushing those targets, and you were recognized for it. But right now, you need to realize something absolutely crucial. You got the promotion, now what? See, while your shiny new title grants you formal authority, it literally does not automatically make you a leader. It's so tempting early on to just lean on that title, right? To give directions and expect everyone to just fall in line. But sustainable influence? Yeah, that's a completely different ballgame. Section 1. The Day 1 Mindset. Okay, it's time to totally shift your perspective. We really need to move away from seeing your role as this static identity that you've just unlocked and start viewing it as an active discipline. I mean, management is basically just the formal role you've been handed. Sure, it comes with a nice updated email signature and, the power to approve vacation time, but true leadership, that only emerges from the subtle, repetitive behaviors that you actively choose to practice every single day. You don't get leadership just from a promotion. You earn it through daily influence. So honestly, stop worrying about establishing some grand leadership identity. Instead, ask yourself the hard question: what habits would that ideal leader practice today? Intentions are great and all, but your team doesn't experience your intentions, right? They experience your habits. Moving on to Section 2, Coaching instead of solving. Let's talk about how to actually enable your team. Think about it. As a top individual contributor, you were always the one who jumped in to, say, fix the broken code or save the day with an angry client. And it is incredibly tempting to keep doing that, mostly because, well, it feels productive. But jumping in to fix issues directly yourself? That's a massive trap. As a manager, your primary job is to enable your team. Strong managers guide their teams toward the answers. They don't just hand them out. So the next time an employee brings you a fire to put out, just pause. Fostering real ownership means asking stimulating questions. Try something like, if I weren't here right now, what would be your first step to solve this? Or what approaches have you already considered? By asking the right questions, instead of just giving the answers, you build your team's capability. And over time, this brilliant little habit reduces their dependency on you and massively strengthens their overall resilience. Section 3, Achievement over mere busyness. Let's look beyond just looking busy. As you step back from doing all the hands-on work yourself, you really have to learn to spot the difference between mere busyness and actual achievement. Look, sending 100 emails at 11 p.m. or boasting about back-to-back meetings all day, that might look like hard work, but exhaustion is definitely not a metric of success. Activity is not achievement. As a new manager, you've got to learn to recognize, measure, and reward actual outcomes, rather than just the appearance of a whirlwind. All right, Section 4, Boundaries, Empathy, and Trust. Finding that sweet spot between empathy and performance. Modern leadership talks a ton about empathy these days, which is fantastic, but there is a pretty dangerous trap here. See, empathy means truly understanding your team's challenges so you can properly support them. Sympathy, on the other hand, is feeling so bad for them that you actually lower the bar and avoid holding them accountable. Empathy protects your team's humanity, while accountability protects their performance. You absolutely need both to succeed. Oh, and another massive trap? Trying to be the cool boss. I mean, we all want to be liked, right? And so many first-time managers make this classic mistake of trying to be everyone's best friend just to win them over. But here's the reality. Lasting trust isn't built over happy hour drinks. It's actually built through consistent, predictable behavior. Your team needs to know exactly what to expect from you, day in and day out. Section 5, Navigating high-pressure situations. What happens when crisis hits? Because eventually you and your team are going to hit a wall, maybe a missed deadline or a lost account. In these crucible moments, this is where your leadership is truly tested, and believe me, your team is watching you closely. If you usually preach autonomy, but the second a project goes in the red, you suddenly start micromanaging, panicking, or pointing fingers, your team's confidence in you will shatter instantly. Trust just evaporates when your behavior shifts based on stress or convenience.
Conversely, if the servers crash and you calmly model fairness, maintain your integrity, and, crucially, take accountability right alongside your team, trust actually deepens naturally. Setting the example is literally the strongest form of influence you have. You have got to model the exact standards you expect from them, especially when the pressure is on. Section 6. Your daily leadership checklist. Here is a routine you can start today. Honestly, the single most powerful leadership habit you can develop is daily reflection. Awareness fuels growth, simple as that. So at the end of your day, just take 5 quiet minutes. Ask yourself 3 simple things. What worked today? What didn't work? And what will I handle differently tomorrow? This really simple, repetitive practice prevents you from stagnating and fuels your continuous improvement. Next up, you have to build structured feedback loops. Remember, silence breeds anxiety, but alignment prevents confusion. So go ahead and book those regular one-on-one conversations, have crystal clear goal-setting discussions, and provide timely feedback right in the moment. Please, never save it all up for an annual review. Teams function with so much more confidence when they know their manager communicates consistently. Nobody likes surprises. Furthermore, as you step into leadership, whatever you do, don't freeze your own development. In fact, leadership accelerates your need for it. Read continually, observe other effective managers around you, and adapt to evolving expectations. The exact moment you stop learning is the moment you'll be forced to rely on your job title to get things done, rather than relying on earned influence. I want to leave you with this really defining thought. Management may be the role you were given, but leadership is the discipline you practice. The managers who build teams that perform steadily, adapt confidently, and trust deeply, they're the ones who treat leadership as an active, subtle, repetitive, daily practice. It's not just a hat you wear, it's a muscle you build. So as you head into your first week as a manager, forget the shiny new title for a second. Instead, ask yourself this. If your title was entirely stripped away tomorrow, would your team still choose to follow you based on the habits you practice today? Thank you so much for joining this explainer. Now get out there and start building those habits.